Welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel, and welcome if you're new to my channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for Virgo tonight. Know that energy is fluid, so again, just interpret the message as it best resonates. Never force anything. Take what you need, leave the rest. That jazz. Just know that usually the message goes to the person that is really thinking about it a lot, that's obsessing about it a lot. So even if you say, well, it's not really me, it usually goes to the person that needs to hear it. And again, that's the person that's most obsessive, that's really freaking out, because we're talking about spiritual energy, and it's always what you get what you need. A lot of times we don't get what we want, we get what we need, and the message is to create a new awareness. So I always like to look at past life wounds, like how you've incarnated into the world with what wounds. Or if you're attached to someone, what'll happen is it'll tell you what you and their past, connection was, what the like what roles you played, like what your jobs were, what again shaped the wound that you both have. Again, a lot of times there's a karmic connection, the karmic theme, karmic lesson that needs to be learned with a past life connection. So when we have that instantaneous knowing about a person, and we really feel like that person's supposed to be in our life, they are. However, not all the time are they supposed to become our lover. Sometimes they come into our life to create an awareness, something for us to look at, for us to investigate with ourselves. So we identify a lot of times these relationships as karmic, and we identify karmic a lot of times as bad because we get hurt. And so the hurt that we hold from the experiences are called the samskara, which is really a soul wound, and it's a spiritual block. It's what keeps us locked in a limited perception about ourselves. And we then form behaviorisms and habits due to those spiritual blocks. So this channel is all about integrating the spiritual wound, because you can't just get rid of negative energy. You are an energy being. You are of consciousness. You're supposed to be the energy of unconditional love. Your spiritual blocks are not unconditional love. They're more associated with fear. Again, they're the shadow aspects of ourselves that we dissociated from, that instead we like to wear a mask to camouflage what we feel. However, that energy is still there. And what happens is it plays out within our life experiences. And the karmic energy that comes from those experiences is mainly, again, will continue to play out within our life. It's what becomes the burden of our life many times, because it keeps us locked in a limited perception of ourselves, which causes pain, because it makes us separate. Separating from ourselves is detachment. And if we've separated from ourselves, then we really can't connect that deeply with others. And trauma will do that. And then, like I said, we then form behaviorisms that are in alignment with those energies. And it's those behaviorisms that are sabotaging. So we always want to look at the past life. We want to look at your inner child wounds. We want to look at the samskaras and the triggers that come from those samskaras, because the triggers are going to tell us what the behaviorisms are, and how the situation plays out is really due to how people react and respond to, again, relationships. So if they're in a relationship, but they have a lot of wounds, we can see how a person would get triggered a lot. And we can see what their behaviorisms are. Why we would want to know that information is, number one, it helps us not to take things personally. And when you're dealing with someone that you love, it's hard to not take things personally if someone's acting mean to you. Again, and triggering your wounds, that it's mainly called attention to you to create awareness, again, for healing, but that doesn't mean that it's not painful. And it's especially like, again, when we really care about someone, we want to fix it, we want to change it, we're really, what it means is that we need to change ourselves. You want to change the outcome of your situation or how you're dealing with the person is, you have to change yourself. And the samskaras and understanding how we get triggered and how they play out within our lives and what our main archetypes are, due to those samskaras, helps us balance out the situation, because we're then able to put in new behaviorisms and habits. And that's how we quantum jump into a new reality, because there's many different realities that play out at one time. And depending on what you do, again, your level of consciousness is going to be how healed you are. And so we see, when I say we, I mean everyone collectively can see when they have problems in their relationships, and they can see when they have problems financially. And if you really are divine energy, which is of consciousness of this unconditional love, and the shadows are parts that you've detached from, parts that you've dissociated from, you want to heal them. You want to definitely heal those now more than ever before, because there's a spiritual war happening, and it's a war on consciousness. The war on consciousness really creates a lot of fear. It makes us stuck in a limited perception about ourselves. And then we begin to live from that level of consciousness, which is fear-based. And you never are going to be able to create anything that's positive, because, again, you can't attract love into your life if you're coming from a fear survival base. So is no shame in having wounds. We all have them. Doesn't matter who you are, how spiritual you claim to be, you have wounds. And again, we're here to learn and to manifest, and you learn through the integration process. Now, without further ado, if you resonate with this, by the way, and you're someone that is in need of coaching, definitely check out my subscriptions, because I'm offering $7.99 a month, $9.99 a month, shadow healing. And this comes with inner child healing. It comes with not just shadow healing, but again, inner child, reparenting. It comes with NLP, it comes with EFT, it comes with breath work and meditation, and all the things that are going to help you recondition your body and mind. And it's done in a very safe environment, right, with like-minded people. And because if you're on this channel, it's because you resonate. And it allows you to be consistent, because that's really what happens when you have trauma. You don't realize that you're conditioning yourself to live, through your behaviorisms and habits. So healing doesn't feel good. It's difficult to stay consistent, to stay positive when you have a lot of trauma. And because it's very easy, because there's the spirit part of self, there's the dust part of self, that dust part of self is the ego part of self, and that ego part of self is your mind. Your mind job is to keep you safe, and emotionally safe is just as equivalently important as physically safe. So, having the structure and the support is very important. And so $7.99 means once a week, and we do a different modality every time we meet, just so everyone gets familiar with all the different modalities, because not one modality is going to work for everybody. We're all different, we're all uniquely different. We may have similar traumas, but we're all unique people, and we have to find our own style. A lot of people that have had trauma never learned what their style is. They don't know who they are. And so look at healing as a self-exploration journey, one that leads you to your higher self, the God part of self, that supernatural part of yourself, that is to really be able to be an expression of unconditional love within the universe through what you choose through your unique individuality. And if you're holding on to a lot of trauma, there's a perception that your individuality is your trauma, and that's not who you are. That's what your mind will tell you, because your mind can't say that there's nothing there. If there's nothing there, you're dead. So we have to understand the mind. We have to understand trauma in order to integrate it. So that's why there's a lot of talking, because it's important. As again, you can't heal without new awareness. So without further ado, if you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel, please. It helps my video. And if you want to win a free reading with me, you have to do that anyway. So you have to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the day. Now, the word of the day I always pick from my Psychic Soul Healer deck. We'd like to look at the archetypes a little bit. What is the energy that you're dealing with? Okay, again, this message is going to be for Virgo, but anyone that resonates, again, you can interpret that that you were meant to hear it. All right. Grounding. So, Virgo, I can feel like you're having a very hard time staying grounded. So you're in an emotional time. I feel like a lot of you are in a healing time. And so not all the time when we're healing do we even know that we're healing. It's a quiet time. And so quiet time makes us reflect, makes us go in our mind, makes us think a lot, and that creates a lot of emotional energy. So we can be feeling very moody, but grounding is all about being in the here and now. It means being present. It means being in the body, because only in the now do you get divine guidance through gut intuition, inner knowing. You can't be in your mind thinking about the past or worried about the future. Again, when we need grounding, that's what it means, that we're either in the past or the future, and that creates a lot of emotions, especially if we need healing, right? That we can be stuck in anger. If we replay a situation in our mind, we're thinking about the future, we could be worried. And so again, it's all about being in the moment, being in the now. But I feel like a lot of you are in a place of healing, which would create a lot of internalization. And that's in order for you to heal. But that's going to be the word of the day. You're going to put that word in the description, in your comment bar, not the description box, in your comment bar. And you'll know if I chose you, if I wrote the word winner underneath your comment. If you did, we just correspond back and forth on YouTube and to figure out the best day and time that works for the both of us. And you'll just have to click on the link, because I'll make sure that it's underneath that comment. So you don't have to say, where's the link? You find it. Then I'm just going to where we've been talking back and forth, and you'll click on it, and I'll post it the day of. All right. Just wanted to put that out there about those subscriptions, because I know coaching can be extremely expensive. And I know that most coaching doesn't have all the modalities. They only teach about the mind. And so again, when we're healing trauma, then we have to reintegrate the body and mind connection, because detachment, dissociation creates a spiritual equilibrium that becomes imbalanced, which makes us imbalanced. And what does that look like? Well, it makes us look like, again, bad with coordination, number one. But number two, it also makes us imbalanced within our perceptions, which makes us imbalanced within our behaviorism. So we may overcompensate or undercompensate, because we're viewing things not from a grounded in the here and now and what's going on. We're again viewing through a distorted perception. All right. So Virgo, what was the energy that you incarnated with? What is the energy that it is really were you born into this lifetime with? And that is, again, oh, angels. So you may be a healer. You may be someone that is very spiritual, someone that's very close to the divine. I feel like people see you as that way. They see you as someone that is very nurturing, very pure, very innocent. And I feel like because you're a highly sensitive person, because angels are, again, this high vibration, and highly sensitive people can read energy and can connect very well to like the angelic realm. But they're able to, again, read energy because they're sensitive. And so again, sensitive people tend to internalize a lot. They have a lot of emotion. They are more divinely guided, so they're more compassionate. And I feel like that's how people are viewing you. I feel like you try to be that way, which is a great energy. Authority figures. And I feel like you are not somebody that like is actually like gets along with authority figures. I feel like you don't trust authority figures, if anything. And the reason why is because authority figures that we are, when you're born into a world that's imbalanced and you're imbalanced, that's what's going to happen, right? If you're in balance, because here you are on a very high vibration and you incarnate into a world where you're not, where you're at such a high vibration, and the world is not a high vibration because the world is not run by God's laws. And God's laws are, unconditional love. It's all about just unconditional love. So there's no separation, there's no segregation. We're not talking about money, and we're not talking about ego. We're talking about, again, angelic, which is of love, of again, the higher characters. And so the authority figures of this world don't come from that level of consciousness. They are business minded. And business it's all about money. It's all about getting ahead. It's all about ego a lot of times. And so is it 100% bad? No, I think it's all about life. So this could be that you're dealing with two totally different energies. That, again, in a past life, you were seen as someone that was very kind and very giving and very loyal and could have actually even been an authority figure, but more like a priest or a someone, again, that's in the spiritual realm that people would go to for guidance, is what I'm feeling. But I also feel like you attract that energy. So this is the incarnated energy that you came into this world with. And sometimes what'll happen is, when you're on a very high vibration, you're not going to pull people that are on the highest vibration. You're going to pull people to you that need what you have. Again, this is what this channel is all about. It's all about creating awareness about what you need through the fact that you're looking at your life through a level of consciousness, which is not right or wrong. It's a perception. And there's many different perceptions to a situation. It depends on how we choose to view, and how we choose to view is based on what we've gone through. So we look at the inner child wounds to see, well, what is it? It's like, what is the wound that we incarnated with? Because we want to see, again, what the archetype is, and the archetype is going to tell us what the samskara is. So everything leads to going deeper and deeper and deeper into ourselves. Like peeling a layer, right? Of peeling an onion. You're getting to, I can speak. Yes, you peel an onion, you get to like one layer that leads to another layer that leads to, and that's what healing is all about. So the way that we can do this is first to understand what was the energy that we were born into this world with that needed to be cleared. What was the spiritual lesson that we obviously didn't learn from past life? What did we need to master? And so this could be being someone that's of a very high vibration, but that's also an authority figure, which is not easy to do, especially in the business world. So Virgo, this again, saying, so we can find you as being someone that is very, again, either a spiritualist, maybe someone that does readings, maybe someone that does counseling, someone that does nursing, someone that is, again, very nurturing and giving, whether it's in the spiritual, holistic, healing, in any one of those areas. But someone that's very looked up to. So they need to walk a walk of balance, which is not easy in today's world. Okay, so again, sewer mermaid. Oh, your sensuality is beautiful. So your sensual, I don't feel like you view yourself as a sexual person or a sensual person. I feel like that part, and that happens a lot of times. Again, if we're an angelic person, we're on this high vibration. And so it's not that sex is dirty or bad. It's not, but you could have been, again, grown up in an environment where sex was seen as bad or dirty. So again, but understand your sexuality is not just an act, right? It's also your part of your individuality. That's part of your creativity. That puts part of your unique essence. So if it was seen as dirty, I mean, even the word like a sewer mermaid, you know what I mean? That's the name of this. It's like your sensuality is beautiful. But like you said, if we're seen as someone that's very angelic and again, we're almost like too pure to be, to have that. And then again, where the authority figure also doesn't really make us very sensual. And so I feel like you've disconnected from that part of you. And the problem with that, Virgo, is that is part of your second chakra, and then the spiritual center is all about your unique individuality, again, your essence, your flavor, whether you can go with the flow of life, whether or not you, again, can have passion in your life. Now, obviously, if we see this energy, then we can say, well, yours could be detachment there, because it's not just our sexuality center, it's actually our trust center. So again, we're on this high vibration, and we tend to look at things from a very pure and very like high, like again, just very high vibration. And high vibration, I'm talking about like they have very good character and morals, and so, but then also being an authority figure and having this energy, you could also be seen as someone that's not very warm, not very real, not someone that people feel safe around to, because you're holding yourself to a very high standard. And so you're not seen as warm. You're not, and so you don't view yourself as sexual or sensual, because you are very giving, you are very nurturing, your job makes you that way. You're seen as that. So there's this detachment, but that's detachment is mainly because of, again, the way that you feel about yourself. So when we grow up in an environment that makes us feel dirty about our sexuality, that's going to show up as problems, as second chakra imbalances of samskaras and archetypes. Now we have formed an archetype based on that wound, and that wound is again known as a samskara. So we're going to look at the archetype first of all, and then we're going to look at the samskara. Oh, that just wanted to pop out. That just jumped out. I have to take it, and of course it did. It's mother. So again, we see a mother wound. Now, again, a lot of times, again, if our mother was very, very strict, someone that, might have had very good intentions too, like, but just was very old-fashioned in their upbringing. So they, again, have passed down the same beliefs, the same way of raising you that they were raised as. And so sex was dirty, sex was bad. And so when your mother makes you feel dirty and makes you feel bad, there's a sense of, again, detachment. And there's also a sense of feeling abandoned, because we are almost feeling as if we're rejected. So we're looking at the wound. So again, the shadow is really, again, smothering or abandoning children. So you get the same energy if your mother abandoned you, or whether or not she overgave and smothered you and didn't allow you to, again, form your own opinions. It's, again, this would make you not trust yourself. This is what would make you not feel good about yourself. Because again, when we don't trust ourselves, then unconsciously we don't trust anyone else. Because again, we're coming from this level of consciousness. And so the trust center is the second chakra. The sexuality center is the second chakra. Again, the detachment and the wound came from mother. Again, this archetype. So you could, again, come across as someone very nurturing and very loving and very giving, but again, still never get the emotional support that you needed. So again, when we have a mother wound, realize, again, there's a sense that we feel a lack within ourselves. And because, again, your root chakra is, again, the support that you get from your mother and your father. That's when it's developed. It's developed from 0 until, like, again, 5 months old. And so what happens is again, when you have this wound from the root chakra, it creates that disconnect from mother and father, then we wind up tending to look for love outside. So what do they say? They say healers are the people that actually need healing, or that never got healing. So they, again, automatically give it. It's the people that need it, they wind up becoming it. Again, this is how we can transmute the energy. So this shows, Virgo, that you are transmuting the energy, but this wound is still here, and it's affecting your second chakra, which is your relationships. And it's, again, your sexuality is how you're viewing yourself, but that's a form of detachment. So you could be someone that overworks. You could be someone that, again, avoids it and avoids or is seen as avoidance. So we're going to look at the samskaras. But we definitely know it shows up as an imbalance within relationships because we don't trust. So let's look at the samskara, obsessive compulsive. So again, when we don't feel good, we tend to be an all or nothing type of person. Again, the second chakra means all or nothing, means we're in balance. It means that our perception is all or nothing. And there's a lot of situations that we go through in relationships that it's not all or nothing. You have to find the gray area because you're dealing with someone that has a different perception, right? So again, someone that has a different perception of that. So relationships could be difficult because we don't trust, but it doesn't mean that we really need to not trust. It means that we tend to look for it. And this also means that we most likely will not date or give our time to anyone unless we're really crazy about them and we want to spend every waking moment with them, and they are like our be and end all everything. We are so obsessive about them and they're so obsessive about us that it becomes very codependent and toxic. This is why there's a fine line between love and hate. And if we have a wound because of our mother, that means that we have very, like, again, it becomes toxic. And it also means that sex tends to be very easy in the beginning of a relationship because it's all about the fantasy and the passion, but there's no balance. Again, there's second chakra imbalance. So what it is it goes really, really hot. And then what happens is that there's nothing, because a relationship is something that's acquired over time. And, you know, you're not dealing with someone that thinks the way that you do. You're not dealing with yourself. So, and even if you were, that might even trigger you. But what I'm saying is you're deliberately getting a person that is going to come into your life that does trigger you, because again, if there's somebody that you're crazy about and there's a past life connection to someone, that and that's what it would be. If you're really, really crazy about someone and you're crazy about them, it wouldn't be that you're just attracted to them. It's because you have a real deep connection with them. But when there's no ground, it's that the relationship has not been cultivated enough in this lifetime, where you both gave energy to the relationship in this lifetime, and it's run mainly on passion and hot. So we again have this wound of thinking that sex is something that's dirty and that we're dirty. We can again be very comfortable with sex in the beginning of a relationship, but over time it fizzles out. And then there's a sense of abandonment. And then there's a sense of, again, like this emptiness. And it's really because there's a wound there. And the wound is from trust. And this happens a lot of times, like I said, when the relationship gets past that fantasy realm and then it's real, and the relationship went from a very hot and passionate to like, oh, now it's boring, because it's codependent. And it's the codependent because relationships take time. So let's look at the triggers. Let's see the triggers. If you are dealing with someone, Virgo, what are the triggers? I mean, they're going to tell us if you're dealing with someone. They're also going to tell us, we see what the behaviorism is. We see that the behaviorism is, again, that you don't trust, and that the relationship would go from all or nothing. So we're also going to look to see how that balances out. But we're going to look at the trigger, because the trigger, if you're dealing with somebody, that's really important. Past, I had a hard time letting go of the past and the fears associated with it. So they manifest in chaos in the relationships. And this is what I'm saying, which is the behaviorism, that every single relationship that would come into your life, because you don't heal from it, because you have trust issues, because again, you never really are vulnerable enough, because you don't feel comfortable in your body. And then you don't feel comfortable in your body because you were taught that sex is dirty. You were taught that not to be who you are, to like, to almost like tone it down. So there's a sense of really not knowing who you are, because you haven't put yourself enough in that, and people don't view you as that. So there's a sense of, again, detachment and dissociation, which is, I don't know what that feels. And that's really trauma. Again, where after a while you can't stay in fight flight. What happens is you eventually get demoted to freeze, where you're just numb. You don't feel anything anymore. You don't know what you feel. So again, there's a sense of, I know that there's a problem, but I don't really know what that problem, why that problem is, why my relationships start off all hot and then they go cold. And it's what it's saying is because you have trauma with again, from you have a mother wound, and that's your samskara. And so where you're stuck in the past. And so again, if we're stuck in the past, every single relationship, we bring the past into the future. So you can see how it replays over and over and over in our life. So we don't want to do that, obviously, because that's not a good thing. So I just want to look at one more child, inner child. No name, loner. So it's again like not having an identity. So again, spiritual, being a spiritual person, again, it shows that you're again different. People don't view you the same. And so again, not feeling good, you were seen as a loner. So, and that's what I said, you didn't have enough experiences with other people really to feel comfortable. And that's what I mean about the grounding. If you have a lot of trauma where you were made to feel as if that there was something wrong with you, and down to the point that your sexuality was dirty, well, then what winds up happening is you don't connect well. And this is what's happened, Virgo. And that, again, doesn't mean that you don't want love. It means that relationships are hard because you're entering into the relationship with trust issues and not being able to really connect. And you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. So you also are attracting someone that also really can't connect. So it's either all or nothing. And that obsession is usually based on the fact of passion, wanting to rush into a relationship, have it really hot and fiery, and then have it fizzle out. And again, what winds up coming up as like betrayal, and which is that energy of, again, not being able to trust growing up. So we can see how that happens. So let's look and just see how are we supposed to balance this energy out? Because again, samskaras are all about understanding what it is that we're doing. So, if we have detachment and we feel bad about ourselves without even pulling cards, I'm going to say you would need to do body mind work. And because body mind work is all about integrating the body mind. Your body is your mind's faithful servant. It holds the score of all trauma. So just the awareness is not enough. Healing means being able to see yourself differently. And that means there needs to be grounding. And I believe that might have even been the card that I pulled, which was the word of the day, which was, hey, get grounded. Because when you're doing healing work and you're healing mother wounds, you're definitely going to get triggered. It means that those are old wounds. Dealing with child healing, and our mother is pretty much the first person that is in our life. And the relationship that we have with our mother, everything like really stems from that. So how well we feel about ourselves, how good we view ourselves, how well we connect with other people. And what this is saying is that you didn't really have that. So it winds up playing out as experiences of codependency, of the relationship just really running on passion and not enough emotional and deep connection. Because a lot of people confuse it. So this is what it is. So let's look and see what is the energy that we would need to do to like balance this out. And what was the karmic lesson? I'm gonna pull a few more decks out of here. Just 3, because like I said, obvious that if we're dealing with a soul mate, if there is like an unconditional love and there's fiery, but we wouldn't want it to go to the extreme. We'd want to keep this as balanced as possible if we wanted to keep them in our life. So how would we deal with this person? Especially if we're in balance, we don't know like how to deal. And it's first about healing yourself. And it's about, that's why you said it's about healing yourself, and by getting better connection to the body and mind and investing in yourself and viewing yourself differently. And that means by, again, adding other passions in your life, because that opens up energy. But then what does the universe say? Well, a new opening. When one door closes, I am confident another will open, and it will be for my betterment. I accept that life brings challenges and acknowledge the opportunities and learning they present to me. Serenity comes from within. So this, in this particular contents, it means, again, like that situation with your mom is, again, and the wounds and what created those wounds are the, like, you're not that same person. So you have to, again, see that really, that is one lifetime. When we're young and we grow up in a home with a mom and a dad, and we have to obey their rules, and we live in accordance to how they want us to live. That was a lifetime, and they did the best that they could do. But really, the new opening in life is really choosing to view, like, again, not stay stuck in the past by looking at your life through who you are today, and through, again, and realizing, again, that there's nothing that you look at your wounds and your triggers as, again, openings for self-exploration that has the potential to help you connect to people on a more deep and intimate level. Because, again, when we heal ourselves, we join things, we want to learn, and that inevitably is us showing ourselves love, which we didn't get from mother to begin with. On some level, that's what, in this story, that's what this is saying, that the person didn't get enough love from that person. And that doesn't mean, was it true? It's, again, that was the level of their perception. Their mother doesn't have the same perception as them, as you. Again, the person in the story is what I'm saying, whether that's you or the person that you're connected to, it's, again, everybody's perception is different. And it's really hard when you have people in your family, people that you love, that are not on the same level of consciousness that you are. It's, again, it's very triggering, because it makes us feel separated from them. It makes us feel, it stirs a lot of emotions, which are the triggers. So really, we have to look for those triggers, because that really is telling us, well, is self-exploration at this point, this stage of the game. You want to heal these wounds, and you want to look for whatever opening comes your way. To be honest with you, that's going to allow you to heal, because no one really wants to be either alone or obsessive. We see, like, you're a lone wolf, either you're going to be alone or you're obsessive, and that's a karmic relationship, that right there, because there's no balance. And trust, and this is what I was saying, like, again, like, when we have that second chakra imbalance, that was created from a parent, there's a sense of not trusting. And it's like, and so we enter into the relationship not trusting. But it's, the second chakra is not about, like, believe it or not, trusting other people. It's about trusting ourselves, that we can trust ourselves because we go with the flow of life. We can trust ourselves because the divine lives inside of us, and only in the now do we get divine guidance. We can trust ourselves because we're not staring at the situation and compulsively. We're actually in life, And being that we're in life, our choice of focus isn't on our worries and problems. So we're able then to tap into our intuition. And then we see that we're supported, and we're supported by the divine. The fact that the divine works through everyone and everything in the universe, and that you are loved and supported. And what happens is again, when we're born into families where we have a wound with the mother wound, there's deep-seated trust issues, which again, of betrayal, victimization, abandonment. And so again, there's a sense of feeling like we didn't get enough love. So we overgive, overdo, we are not balanced enough. And what happens is over time, the relationship gets stale, it's boring, it's redundant, there's no more fantasy, there's no more passion. Again, the second chakra is about passion, and then abandonment. And so there's trust issues. So it's all about learning that trust comes from yourself, being invested in your life, and realizing that trust doesn't come from trusting the people in your life as much as it comes from trusting yourself, because people are always coming from their level of consciousness, and they can have the best intention in the world for you, but they're only coming from their level of consciousness. So whether you get hurt is going to be dependent on whether or not you are, again, balanced. And being balanced means that you love yourself enough that you're not looking. The reparenting exercise really here would be to give yourself the love that your mother didn't give you, and that is through investing in you. That's how we trust the universe. I trust life and my strengths. Every moment guides me to the light. Everything on my path is placed there for my growth. So it's again that the people that come into our life show us new awarenesses that we're supposed to see, that we're supposed to transcend. But karma is based on what you choose to do. So if we're coming from our true sense of self, and where we love ourselves, we're investing in ourselves, somebody can't come really into our life and hurt us, because again, we're going to be supported. We're going to be supported by people in our life. That person isn't our full sense of emotional support. We are. And that's how you can trust yourself. That's how you integrate this. So I hope you resonated with this video, Virgo. If you did, let me know. Give me a like. Again, write the word grounding in your comment bar if you want a psychic soul reading with me. And if you're someone that needs shadow coaching, definitely want to check out those subscriptions, $7.99, $9.99, $20. You can't beat it. It does not just the inner child, not just the shadow coaching, not just the reparenting, but you get the EFT, you get all the other modalities, breath work, meditation, all of it. Check it out. It's all in the description box for you. And I'll see you all soon. Bye. Be true to you.